What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
It is Saturday night.
Do I need to move over?
No, you good.
Oh.
I probably need to move over. What's happening, folks? It's Saturday night. You know what time it is. It is time for another episode of Have a Conversation After Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this show is about sparking conversation because we believe conversation is a catalyst for growth. We believe conversation is a catalyst for learning, and we believe that conversation is a catalyst for bonding. So here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to share this, share this. I particularly would love to have men in here tonight.
Men? Why?
Because of the subject matter.
But it can go both ways.
It can go both ways, but I definitely would love to hear some men's opinions about tonight. So share this simply by clicking the share button so that other folk on your timeline can see this. I'm going to, what I didn't do was I'm going to put the question up. I'll put the question up so that as people are coming in and out, we can let them know what the question is about. So while people are coming in, welcome. If you're new to us and you don't know who we are, I'm Oliver. This is my lovely, beautiful, fantastic wife, Denise. And we are passionate about relationships, authors, speakers, and coaches in the relationship space and the men's enrichment spaces. And we just want to see people grow. And this show on Saturday nights is about throwing stuff out there that hopefully will spark conversation between the two of you because of what we believe conversation to be and the importance of conversation in your relationship. Now, if you want relationship advice
Mhm.
and want to be a part of a relationship advice show, which is a really great show, you can check us out on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Inside the Relationship, a show that is all about relationships. All right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
let me
Yep.
get
Yep.
this question in here. Let me type it in here real quick. Well, I don't have to type it. I'm just going to copy it. Let's see if it'll, I don't know if it'll fit. Let's see.
How far is too far when someone else of the opposite sex is greeting your spouse? What would you do if someone crossed the line?
I'm going to take out of the opposite sex.
It's yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I didn't have to, did I?
no, you didn't have to, but that's okay.
Uh, okay. Here we go. All right. Let's throw the question up. And that way, as people come in, this is what we're talking about tonight. Listen, this is to give some context for those who may not know what the backdrop of this is. There's been a clip that has been going around, a viral clip
Mhm.
that's been going around of Michael Ealy giving this really great hug to Meagan Good, greeting Meagan Good, greeting the folk around her, and seemingly not greeting her boyfriend.
But he did.
Now, that's what I was going to say. Now, he greeted him.
He did.
There are some other accounts that say that he greeted him. However, here's where we're going with this. Where we're going with this is the question right here. How far is too far when someone else is greeting your spouse?
Yeah.
And what would you do if they cross the line?
Mhm.
So maybe we should go back with a initial question first.
Mhm.
Did he cross a line?
It depends. In my opinion, he did,
Okay. Why did
but
he cross the line?
because it was just all well for them.
Hmm.
For me, he did.
Okay.
It was just too much for me.
Okay.
However, thinking about where they're coming from,
Hmm.
maybe for them it wasn't. You have to take it case by case, I think.
Okay.
Their history is they just finished making a movie recently, right? And so, they were probably, got really cool, and I don't mean like in a romantic way or anything like that, but just like we're cool, we're friends, we're filming together,
Well, I
we
think
have
they've
that
worked together, but
rapport.
I don't know if
And
they had just worked together.
oh no, because it's not. I
Yeah,
keep
it
thinking
wasn't.
it
Yeah,
was
the
him
Tyler
in that
Perry
movie.
thing,
It's not
right?
the Tyler Perry movie.
Mm-hmm.
But so they've worked together
Mm-hmm.
before, and
Mm-hmm.
so they're probably cool from that.
Okay.
They didn't have a romantic relationship before that I know of.
Okay.
And so in that regard they're cool.
Mm.
But I just think it's very it's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope, and here's why. Here's why I hope that some fellas join us tonight, and or watch the replay and give their comments, because what I want to know from the fellas is if another man, Michael Ealy's your spouse. I'm coining a new phrase now, um, as it relates to greeting folk, and it is the Michael Ealy. Okay, so if another man walks upon your spouse and gives your spouse the Michael Ealy, is that number one too much? And number two, if so, what are you going to do about it? That's the question I have. That's the question that's on the table. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, for me,
Was it too much?
yes,
It was too much.
a guy cannot come up to you and
Literally sweep me off my
yeah,
feet.
yeah, that's not happening. That can't happen. It
What
can't
would you
happen.
do?
I don't know what I would do because I have a lot more self control now
Mhm.
in this season of my life, and I'm a lot less likely to just be impulsive. So I
Mhm.
don't know what I would do.
Mm.
However, what I do know is, can nobody come and Michael Ealy you? Can nobody come and give you the Michael Ealy? That's crossing the line for me.
I agree. And can't nobody come and jump into your arms either.
I'm about to say, because if a girl picks me up, then
No, I
that's
mean
already a
jump into,
problem.
you know how
Yeah, I
you
know.
see the girl jumping into the guy's
Hmm.
arms and she picks her feet up and wraps her legs
Hmm.
around him? No,
Yeah,
that's not happening.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
That is
And I don't know how much restraint I have when it comes to that.
understood.
No.
And I mean, I'm not saying that people should have restraint. I'm just saying I don't know what I would do. Now, it's I'm not gonna not do nothing.
I want to know what you would
And
do. You
and
know
here
what you would
so
do.
and so we know for context that at some point he did greet Jonathan,
He
right?
did.
But the way the clip is edited,
Yeah.
it looks like he completely ignores Jonathan.
Yeah. Which, of course,
And
that's to get people talking
and
like we
either
are.
way, which I saw a bunch of people comment this, either way, he looked some like he felt some kind of way.
And that's the thing. It doesn't matter if he greeted him or not.
Hmm.
Like if some my ex came up to me
Hmm.
and greeted me like that,
Hmm.
greeted you,
Hmm.
and then greeted me, did the whole Michael Ealy thing.
Hmm.
If it makes you uncomfortable,
Hmm.
it doesn't
Now,
matter.
now let's be
It's
clear.
wrong.
Let's be clear. All of this is speculation because we don't know what the brother was thinking.
Correct. But we're
Right.
saying, what if this were to
Right.
happen?
So we're just going off just that. So for me, I feel like that's crossing the line.
I think it is too.
Now here's the question. Here's the real question that has to be asked. And those who follow this show know that I'm going to ask questions that bring in both sides of this argument. Here's the real question.
Hmm.
The real question is, why is it crossing the line? Why do I guess the question I have to ask myself is, why do I feel like it's crossing the line? Is that some level of insecurity that I have,
I don't know that it.
or is it really inappropriate?
I just think that it's inappropriate. I don't think that it's, for me, it wouldn't be because I'm insecure.
Okay.
I just it to me it's inappropriate if this was your ex coming up to you like that. If it was like in this situation, they're cool, they're buddies, they've worked together, they're really close,
Hmm.
you know, bro sis type relationship, I can kind of almost see where that would be okay.
Okay.
Almost, kind of. Still kind of on the fence about it. But if he's her ex,
Hmm.
to me, that's crossing the line and it's inappropriate. Not because I'm insecure,
Hmm.
but because that's no longer where you guys are at. Like, that's inappropriate.
So let's be clear about this before I ask this question. Let's be clear about this. I'm never hugging nobody like that. I don't care what kind of relationship we have.
Hmm.
Now, that being said, is there anyone you know
Hmm.
that I could hug like that and you wouldn't feel some kind of way? You don't have to say their name, but is there
Yeah.
any? There is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not your exes. You're saying any
I'm
of
just
your
saying, period.
exes? Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Ask me that question.
You already know the answer. So if one of
Ask
our
me-
guys came up to,
no, that's
no,
unacceptable.
like bro sis type,
No, it's unacceptable.
it is.
100%. For what? What is what? Why that hug? Why that?
I'm
Like a
just
lot of
thinking of,
dudes give you big hugs, and that's cool. I'm not a jealous dude. I'm not an insecure dude.
but as long as my
But
feet
the
got to
Mike,
stay on the floor,
right? Yeah, the Michael Ealy is different. That's a different kind of hug. Like that's
so my feet have to stay grounded.
yeah. What
I
is the
can't be
point of
picked
that?
up.
Yeah, what's the point of that? That's that in any scenario where the Michael Ealy hug is used, it is a it is something romantic.
No. I mean, I know someone, I remember someone at
Hmm.
at Andrews
Hmm.
that used to hug like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
But he was tall.
Okay.
And so, when he hugged, it was just like that. And we didn't think
He
anything
could
of it.
bend down.
Huh?
He could have bent down.
Yeah, he didn't think anything of it. And when I tell you who it was, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, yeah, you're
Mm.
right. I know you will.
He could have bent down. Whoever it is could have bent down. The Michael Ealy is a different kind of hug. That's another category of hug, right? You got
So feet cannot levitate.
right. You got the Christian hug. You got you got the side hug. You got the triangle hug.
What's a triangle hug?
The triangle hug is when you come in front, but you all the way like this. So both of your bodies is like that. You know what I'm saying? The Michael Ealy is something way different.
Oh
Like that's
boy.
outside of all of those. That's
Yeah.
that's outside of all of those.
I think it would depend if it, like I said, if it was your ex, it's inappropriate. If it's a bro sis type person,
Hmm.
I think I'd be okay with it.
Okay. And let's be clear about this too. I don't, in all that I've said, this is probably going to negate everything I just said. But despite all that I just said, I really don't believe that there is. I mean, there's an obvious right or wrong, right? So if you like groping somebody and
Of
you like
course.
that's something different. So
Yeah.
let's take all that out of the table. Take the craziness off the table. But with the craziness aside, I don't know that there is a right or wrong. And for argument's sake, I do think that there is a respect thing
Hmm.
there that you just want to respect the other person by not Michael Ealying his spouse.
Hmm.
However, the other side of that is there is also potentially an insecurity piece. We we
On the other guys.
right. We may not want to admit that, but
I
because I'm just a fan of conversation and debate, there very well could be, because here's the thing. There are some people who mean something by it.
Yeah.
Some people give you the Michael Ealy and they mean something by it.
Hmm.
Some people give you the Michael Ealy and they don't mean something by it.
Hmm.
You should be able to know the difference.
Yeah. I would say he definitely looked uncomfortable. Whether he was greeted by Michael Ealy or not,
Hmm.
to me, he looked uncomfortable. And
Hmm.
so that might speak to his insecurity. And again,
Yeah, it's speculation.
it's all speculation.
And this is not so much about Michael Ealy. The reason why his name is kind of coming up in this conversation a lot is because I've named that hug now,
The
the
Michael
Michael
Ealy
Ealy.
hug.
Yeah. So just know, those of you who know me, if I see you hugging somebody and you pick them up off the ground, I might come tap you and be like, "Hey, I seen you give it to Michael Ealy just now. I saw you."
So what is it about being picked up?
And that's why I'm saying maybe there's some insecurity there. I listen, when I think about picking, if I hug you and pick you up off the ground, and let me be clear, let me give a disclaimer. I'm not saying that every guy thinks this. So don't play yourself and run up on some guy
Oh my
and give him
goodness.
the third degree because you think this is what he's thinking.
Oh.
This is Oliver Marcel. That's it. That's the disclaimer. When I pick you up off the ground, I'm trying to pull you in close. I'm trying to feel some things. I'm trying to press some things up against me.
You don't have to pick me up to do that.
I don't, but what I'm saying is that hug is indicative of that. So that's so where my head would go if I see somebody else give you the Michael Ealy, my head would go somewhere based on my own thoughts around that.
Yeah,
Whether right or wrong,
you're
that just
funny.
is it just is what it is.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean? Which is why I would never Michael Ealy nobody else.
Okay. Okay. Now, see, I understand. Now you've explained
Yeah.
what you think about when you pick me up.
I'm not about to, and because I'm not thinking about that with anybody else, why would I Michael Ealy them? It don't
Okay.
make sense.
So that makes sense to me. Now that you've explained it, I understand that when you pick me up, that's where your mind goes. And so
Yeah,
why would you pick?
it's something romantic for me.
Okay.
It's
That makes
something,
sense.
playful and
Yeah.
foreplay-ish, and
Between us ish.
yeah, it's yeah. So I
Okay.
ain't thinking about nobody else like that. So why I'm gonna go Michael Ealy this other chick when
Okay.
I ain't thinking about her like that?
Okay. See, so that's not a bro sis greeting
Nah,
in your mind.
absolutely
Okay.
not even close.
Okay.
Now, again, disclaimer: that's just Oliver Marcel.
Mhm.
The next dude that could just be, you know, a the church greeting for him.
And that's what I'm saying. This guy at Andrews, that's how he used to hug us.
Yeah, I mean,
He
hey,
was a big dude. He was tall, big
hey,
dude.
whatever's clever.
So,
There's nobody's on here really to say one way or the other how they feel. So if you happen to watch this, say in the comments how you feel about it. But
but again, for me, if it's an ex
mhm.
and she jumps up into your arms like that and wraps her legs around you,
So why does the X why so let me go back. Carrie Ann is
because
here. Shout out to Carrie Ann. I'm gonna get the comment in a second. So hold on, check
no
this
other
out.
chick like that. Weird, strange. What's
Check
up, Carrie Ann?
check this out though. You said that there are some women that that I could hug like that and you would not have a problem.
Well, that was before you explained to me
Yeah, but
what.
let's say it wasn't about that. Let's just say take my disclaimer off the table.
Mhm.
There just the hug in general, the Michael Ealy in general. There are some women that I could hug like that and you wouldn't have a
You're
problem.
my girls.
Right. So why would it be a problem with my ex?
Because you and your ex have had a romantic involvement. And so my mind would go where your mind goes
Hmm.
when you pick me up like that.
So that means
Does
it.
that make sense?
Yeah. So that means it could be more about insecurity than it is about the Michael Ealy. Like the hug is a hug.
I
It's just a type of hug, but our insecurity puts something more on
I
it.
don't know if I'm
You don't think
insecure
so?
because insecure would mean that I would think that it is going to go further. I don't think that. I just think it's inappropriate because she's an ex.
So Carrie Ann, I'm with you. What you just said, I'm about to put it
You
up on the
think
screen.
so, Carrie Ann?
Absolutely, absolutely. What's up, fam? Hey, fam. I'm not feeling Brian hugging no other chick
Chick
like
like
that.
that. Weird.
Okay.
Strange.
Now here's a comment.
Dude from school or church was using that to his advantage.
So Carrie Ann, what I said earlier was he could have bent down. Whoever the dude is, whether it was my guy or not, because he didn't tell me who it was. So
You think so? Maybe I'm
could have bent
naive.
down. I listen, forget everything I said about how I feel when I do that to you.
Mhm.
I don't see any reason, not one reason why
Mm.
a dude would give another chick, especially somebody else's chick, the Michael Ealy.
Okay.
I don't see it. There is no reason why you have to hug somebody
And pick them up.
and pick them up. It's just I cannot fathom that at all. Like I don't understand. Like and
Oh,
that's why I would love listen, I would love somebody to give me a reason why they would do that. Like
I
I would
just
love to
feel
have
like
that
it's,
conversation.
oh, this is my girl. What's up, girl? I ain't seen you in so
Yeah,
long. Give
but
me
you don't have to pick
a
them
hug.
up to do that. Carrie Ann said tall side hug,
Okay.
right? So in that case, haven't seen you in a long time, da 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 da, right? That might be a tighter hug.
But tighter. You
And
feel more if it's
I
tighter.
mean
And
you
you
feel
said that you don't, that's what you think of when you
no
pick me
don't
up.
so take that out of your mind though. That take that off the table for a second.
Okay.
Let's say that that's not an issue. That's not the case. And when I say tighter hug, I don't mean like there's no reason for you to really like,
Linger.
yeah, there's no reason for you to be rubbing up on nobody.
No, of course not.
But the hey, I haven't seen you in a long time might be the difference between the hello happy Sabbath hug and the hey, I haven't seen you in a long time hug could be the difference between 2 seconds and 5 seconds.
Now, when someone hugs me, I'm gonna be like,
I mean, I mean, you know, and here's the thing: a lot of people, if we're talking about what's crossing the line, there are some people that won't give a front hug at all,
mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
because they have their reasons why they won't do that.
yeah,
There's some people that will only give side hugs,
right.
right? There are very, and I'm trying to think, man, there may be none. Yeah, there may be none. I'm trying to think.
What?
What I was about to say is there are very few people that I would embrace like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see me and you know you see me,
Mm-hmm.
I am often coming around the side.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not my insecurity. That's my safety.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how other people feel. I ain't trying to
Mm-hmm.
make nobody uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't trying to give off, because it's some people they'll be uncomfortable. Some people might take it the wrong way. You just don't know who where a person's headspace is at,
Is
right?
there an appropriate way to hug a guy? Like, I feel like reaching up around the neck is
Yeah.
that's
There's no need to do
inappropriate,
that either.
right?
Yeah,
That's
there's no need.
inappropriate.
That's the slow dance hug. The Michael Ealy, the slow dance, none of that is necessary if you just saying hello to somebody in church.
Yeah, I always do the over the shoulder type thing, like
Mm,
this
yeah,
type hug.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
That's
That's just me. I mean, it's to each his own, right? And here's what I'm saying. There. This is going to sound contradictory what I'm about to say, but I don't know that anything is inappropriate until it's inappropriate.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Um,
understand.
the front hug, nothing wrong with it until you think something. Until you think something,
Until you're uncomfortable.
right? Or until you're uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? Because you know that there are some folk
Hmm.
who they got a reason why they hug the way they do,
Oh yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
a very subtle way of getting what they need to get in that moment
Hmm.
without nobody knowing.
That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? Carrie Ann
Carrie Ann,
said no neck
no
hugs.
neck hugs. No neck
No neck
hugs.
hugs. Yeah, the neck hug is a romantic hug.
It
That's
is.
that's the slow dance hug. That's the hug. You out on the beach and you know what I'm saying? Like who needs that outside of the person that you with? Like that's yeah. So the Michael Ealy, let me tell you something too. Just the side note. The skits.
The skits are hilarious.
Oh man, the skits about this thing are fantastic. I mean,
Hilarious.
man, they are fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. I just Carrie Ann gave her opinion. She said not feeling Brian hugging no other chick like that. So Carrie Ann, if you still here, what would you do if
You already know what Carrie Ann would do.
yeah, I'm just curious. What would you do? Like, and he don't mean nothing by it, but
Hmm?
no, I'm saying like if Brian were to hug somebody like that,
Oh. If Brian were to
what
hug some, you
yeah,
still already know what Carrie Ann would do.
what would you do? Knowing that that's not, you know, that's not what's trying to take place.
Hmm.
Or better yet, let's say he doesn't pick her up. Brian is taller than a lot of folk,
Hmm.
right? So let's say Brian hugs somebody and they lift their own feet off the ground. then what?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Hmm? What?
this is what I would
Oh,
be
that's
doing.
oh. So you'd be ready to rock. Okay. All right.
These would be coming off. Because why are you wrapping your legs around my guy? We're not
All
doing
right.
that.
All right. Well, I didn't say wrap your leg. Now that's way across the line.
So what?
Wrapping your
What I
leg. I'm talking about just lifting your like
Like flipping your leg
Yeah,
back.
back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, the wraparound.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's I don't know what to name that. That's even
That's
a
more than
step
a Michael
beyond the
Ealy.
Michael Ealy. Like that's yeah, the leg
Yeah.
wraparound. That's a message
But I
being
mean,
sent.
even lifting your feet up, flipping
Carrion
your
said,
leg
nope.
back. Yeah, there's no. Mm-mm.
There ain't no need for that, man. You know, those are the types of hugs you see when people are in love. You know what I'm saying? You see the old pictures of the guy going off to war and kissing his girlfriend or his wife, and she got her leg flipped up in the back. There ain't no need for the Michael Ealy. Like
Mm-mm-mm.
that's not a hey, I haven't seen you in a long time type of hug.
Yeah.
Unless it's your wife. You coming back from war.
Right.
And
That's the
hey,
picture.
come get this Michael Ealy. You know, like that's I don't there ain't no other need for that. There ain't no other need for that. Karen said we're going to have problems.
Leg
Leg
kicks?
kicks.
Nah.
Oh
That's
man.
not
Now,
happening.
here's the real question. For those who are watching now and watching the replay, is that a conversation that you had with your spouse early on?
Never did we have
We
this
never had that
conversation.
conversation.
Never
We never
did we
talked
have
about it.
it.
We never talked about, hey, how you know what kinds of hugs would make me uncomfortable. How how should you be greeting other folk?
Hmm.
We've never had that conversation. Um,
Yeah.
and that might be an important conversation to have because you don't want to find out in the moment
In the
how your
moment.
spouse is going to react. Because if your spouse lays this other person out, and that's not what you were expecting,
Yeah. Then you got bigger
right?
problems.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying they would be wrong for laying this person out, but
Right.
you should probably know that that's going to be the reaction.
Yeah.
You know, to that kind of thing. Carrion said if he picks up some other chick, me and him will have a talk.
Okay.
Understood. Understood. And I think
Definitely. Definitely.
I'm glad you said that because if I give somebody the Michael Ealy, you can't be mad at the chick.
No. Yeah, you're
That's
right.
on me.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's on me.
you're right.
Now, if I'm giving her the church hug and she turn it into the Michael Ealy,
Right.
then that's a different story.
Correct.
But if I just come in with the Michael Ealy, hey girl, nah, there ain't no reason for none of that at all.
Oh man, 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 man.
At all. But I think it's a conversation that's necessary because here's the thing. There are some people who won't have a problem with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of feel like, not to keep talking about them because it's not about them, it's about the situation.
Mhm.
But I kind of feel like they didn't she didn't have a problem with it. I think maybe in the back of her mind she was like, "Oh, what is he thinking? What's the guy's
She
name? Michael?"
she might not have been.
I feel like they didn't have a problem with it. The only person that had a problem with it was her boyfriend. His name Michael?
The boyfriend's name is Jonathan
Jonathan. Jonathan. Yeah.
Majors.
Yeah.
And
So
here's the thing, he might not have had a problem with it.
he might not have. We
It's
just
just the
saw that
clip that
clip.
we saw.
Yeah.
He was looking a little salty, but it could have been something totally different going
Sure
on.
could have been. Yeah.
Just like we didn't know in the original clip that we saw, we didn't know that
He did
Michael had
greet him.
actually greeted him,
Yeah.
which he did, right? So
So
it's really about what's too far. What is going too far?
so if it's a guy,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
that gives me the Michael Ealy, but the guy is not an ex. We have like a bro sis relationship,
Mhm.
and he greets you first.
Mhm.
Do you still have a problem with it? And it's not like you're like, oh, maybe they have a bro sis relationship.
Mhm.
We have a bro sis relationship.
Mhm.
Do you still have? Is that still a problem for you?
So,
He greeted you first,
right. And
and
then
then he Michael
he gives
Ealy's
you the
me.
Michael Ealy. So if I'm being honest, I may not say anything to him, but I'm gonna think something.
Hmm.
I am
Okay,
gonna think something. I'm gonna be like, that
that wasn't
yeah, you didn't
necessary.
really have to do all that. I'm saying? Like, you know, and depending on the day, if it's my dude,
Mm-hmm.
depending on if you catch me at the right time or the wrong time, whatever you want to call it, I might actually say like, yeah, you know, man, I may say something jokingly that I actually mean.
Mm.
That's probably what I would do.
I think you would do that
I would
too.
say something jokingly that I really mean,
Just say it.
probably. Just so that it doesn't turn into something because if it's that scenario and we are all really really cool like that, what I don't want to do is displace the mood
Mm-hmm.
unnecessarily.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say something jokingly because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it would be true, but I would say it jokingly.
Yeah. I
You know,
feel like you would do that too.
yeah, I would say it jokingly.
I wouldn't be joking that much.
Uh, it's B.
What's
Oh,
up,
so
B?
this B. What's up, B? Uh,
I need to hear your comment,
yeah.
B.
So here's my question to you, B. We at church, and somebody who Carrie Ann hasn't seen in a long time gives her to Michael Ealy. Play out what's happening next for me. Like, how are you handling that?
Oh gosh.
And it don't have to be an ex. It don't have to be, you know what I'm saying? Just somebody real cool. Somebody Carrie Ann, went to school with way back in the day, whatever. Excited to see her. And before she even knows what's happening, her feet is dangling up off the ground.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna need you to tell me what
Mm, mm,
what are
mm.
you doing about that?
This is crazy.
What are you doing about that? So somebody commented on, man, why can't I see the YouTube comments?
Somebody commented.
Somebody commented on YouTube. It said, "Hold up." Yeah, I hear you on YouTube. For some reason, your comments not coming up here. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Um, I can only see a couple of comments. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah. So yeah,
That's
I would really love to know that. So because for me, yeah,
it's a no.
yeah,
It's
I
a
just
no for you.
I don't see that. I don't see how that's necessary. I don't think there's anything necessary in that.
Oh,
The
that's Brian.
Oh, that's Brian. Oh, that
BA
said hold up.
Sims 007.
Okay. Um, what shout out to Nikki.
Nikki.
Shout out to Nikki.
What's
Love
up,
this conversation.
Nikki?
My mind is replaying the Cosby
Cosby Show
Show.
scenarios when Cliff and Claire are hosting old friends and the husband greets
I
Claire
remember that. I
with the
remember that.
Michael Ealy.
I
What's the
remember
I
that.
don't remember
I
that
do remember
one.
that. Now that you mentioned it, I do remember that.
I don't remember that one. I gotta
I
look for
do. I
that
do
clip.
remember that. And you're right. That's
Was
so
that
so.
wrong? Since you
Here's
remember it, was
so
that
here's
wrong?
the thing. Here's the thing. If I'm being dead honest, I know I've been kind of joking and kind of half serious. If I'm being dead honest, there's nothing wrong with the Michael Ealy. Like, let's be clear.
I don't think so. Mm,
Let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with the Michael Ealy. Here's where the problem comes in. The problem comes in when there is, and some people are going to fight me on this, but I gotta keep it a buck. And I'm talking about me because even though I don't feel like there's any problem with the Michael Ealy, nobody can Michael Ealy her. So there you go. Right. Here's the reason why, and I'll speak for myself. I don't think it's wrong, but here's the reason why nobody can Michael Ealy her is because I feel like the Michael Ealy should just be reserved for me. Whether you want to call that selfish, whether you want to call that insecure, whatever you want to call that, I'll take it and I'll own it. It's the hug in and of itself is not a wrong hug.
Brian.
It's not. But I don't agree with it.
I'm
How about
laughing
that?
at Brian's comment. For starters, she was supposed to stop it from jump.
Facts.
Who
Facts.
was supposed to stop it?
Meagan.
I agree. I agree. But she stayed up there, is why I was laughing. She knows John had an issue and she ignored due to the
Exactly.
nature of her be perhaps enamored by him.
Yep. I agree with that
Mm.
100%. So to speak to your
Yeah.
question, Nikki,
Ooh,
was it wrong? Probably not. But if you feel some way about it,
it's wrong.
then it has to be addressed.
And if I feel
I,
some kind of way about it, it makes it wrong for me and for you. It
okay.
makes it wrong.
So I don't know if I would say it that I'm with you. I don't know if I would say it that way. It doesn't necessarily make it wrong if I feel some kind of way about it. But if I feel some kind of way about it, we have to address it.
Yeah. But
And we have to set some parameters around it.
yeah.
Even if
Yes.
I don't think it's wrong, if it ain't right for me, we got to address it. Does that
Mm,
make sense?
yes. B. Ollie, to answer your question, I did experience someone hug Carrie Ann and it was a bit too long. And he looked at me smiling. And when I adjusted my stance, he let go, but I kept it cool. That's out
Yeah.
of order.
So that
That's
dude,
out of
right,
order.
right, exactly. So if you're gonna look at her man and smile, you know what you're doing.
While you're hugging
Yeah, you know
her.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. And
Mm-mm.
hey, listen,
That's
man,
out of order.
salute to you, my friend, because that's not everybody wouldn't do what you did. Everybody would keep it cool. Like
He just
if
adjusted his stance. That's all he needed to do.
yeah, if I know if I know that you don't know any better,
But how would you not know any better?
you can tell. You can tell. And I don't know if anybody will agree with me here.
You mean they were being ignorant and just
Right. You know,
legitimately ignorant
right.
and just
You know when somebody is hugging it. Let's take the hugging thing, but this is across the board. But I'm gonna use it in the context of hugging.
mhm,
You know when somebody is innocently hugging someone
mhm.
and when they're not.
You do
You
know? Guys
absolute
know?
what? Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm.
You know when somebody's you know when it's innocent and you know when there's some ulterior motive. 100%.
Mhm.
And the person who says that they don't know the difference, maybe they just are not paying attention. Maybe they're
Right.
naive, or maybe
Right.
they lying to themselves.
Mm.
But you know.
Wow.
And my guy Doc Parks just backed me up.
He said, "Of course we know." What's up,
What's
Doc
up, Doc?
Parks?
What's up, Doc? Doc said, "Of course we know. Absolutely,
Mm.
we know the difference." And so for the dude who did that to Carrie Ann, he knew what he was doing,
Wow.
and he showed his hand by smiling at B.
Mm-mm-mm. That's wild. That's bold.
That's bold. And if you know Brian, if he hadn't have kept his cool, then we'd have been reading the dude's obituary
Oof.
because
This is true.
you know.
Mike didn't even recognize John at the scene, but he all up on John. No, sir.
Yep. Yep. And
Wow.
the thing is, so we saw another clip where it looks like
He did
he did
actually acknowledge and
acknowledge him,
greet John.
but still,
It doesn't matter if John is
if he's
uncomfortable,
uncomfortable, right,
then Mike is wrong.
then Mike is wrong. And number two, even though even though the Michael Ealy in and of itself is not a wrong hug, the Michael Ealy should be reserved for people that you are romantically involved in with.
Mm, okay.
There are just some hugs, there's some gestures that should just be reserved for the the person that you with.
Okay.
I feel me personally, I feel like the Michael Ealy is one of those. That's just me.
Yeah.
B said, B said usually old
Old
B
B
would
would have been jumping rounds.
absolutely. I already know. I already know. I already know, man.
Man, oh
So
man.
yeah, and I think that's the conversation. And here's what here's a question I asked earlier is how many people have had that conversation? Because we've never had that conversation.
No.
We've never had a conversation around, hey, listen, there are certain things that I feel like might be a little bit inappropriate. I take it upon myself to just be always as much as possible on the safe side. That's just me. Um,
I dare say most couples probably didn't have this conversation
yeah,
unless they
until
until they
something
had
happened.
to.
Until
Yeah,
something happened.
until they had
Right.
to.
Until something happened.
Hmm.
Uh Doc said I was out yesterday and ran into my frat and his girl at dinner. I dapped
Dapped
him
him
up
up and
and shook
shook
her
her
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Keep it
So you
safe.
ain't jump in and give it a Michael Ealy, huh, Doc? You ain't give it the Michael Ealy. Man, that
Do you know her though? Did you know? Do you know her?
would that make
Does
a
that make it?
difference?
Well, could you not even hug her at least?
You probably could hug her.
I mean, if you're just now meeting her, yeah,
Doc,
handshake,
Doc said,
of
nah, fam.
course.
And he said, I do. I do
Okay,
know. But I mean, sometimes you just want to be on the safe. You
safe
just
side.
want to keep things
Keep it
safe.
safe.
You want to keep the level of ambiguity as high as possible
Brian.
or as low as possible, may I say. uh
Oh
what did Brian say?
God. Well, not to bring it up, but let's not forget the name tag incident. I immediately went to exclaim to O.
That's funny. That
Little
is funny.
inside joke there.
That's funny. That's
Oh
funny.
my goodness.
We've had that conversation, Nikki says, as a couple due
To
to
serve it. Oh,
oh
see, now
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
different what's it called? Paradigm,
That's a
different
different
facet.
dynamic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different dynamic.
That's true,
I
man.
didn't
Cause
think about that.
these chicks be after them pastors, man.
Yep.
Like for real,
Or
for real.
vice
Or
versa.
vice versa.
Guys are
Yeah.
after female
Yeah.
pastors.
So okay, so you guys had that conversation. That's
Oh.
what's up. Okay.
Now look at Terry Parks's comment.
Park said
She
she
is
is
too
too
fine
fine.
for me to give her a hug. Honesty.
My man.
I love it.
I'm with that.
And her back was out. No
Oh yeah,
bra.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Not
Absolutely
at all.
not.
Yeah, yeah. We not even. Yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah, 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 yeah. Rev flag on the play. Yeah, we not doing that. We not doing that. We not doing that. B said, let's flip it.
Imagine a chick ignored you and jumped on Ollie and wrapped her leg around him for
Yeah, that's
12 to 13. I already
so.
took
That's what
my
we talked.
earrings
Yeah,
out.
that's what we talked about earlier.
I
She was
already
like,
took
that
my
can't happen.
earrings out.
She was like, that can't happen.
Mm-mm.
But me personally, like, she wouldn't even have to get involved because I'm gonna shut that down anyway.
Mhm.
If somebody jumps on me and wraps their legs around me, I'm a whisper in their ear, "Hey, get down right now."
You're going to whisper that?
Yeah. There was a time where she would have gotten embarrassed. I think I've grown and matured a little bit.
I
Whereas
agree.
I'm not gonna shout you down and embarrass you. I might not shout you down and embarrass you.
I'll do it for you.
Well, it,
I'll
it
do the
depends. It
shouting down.
depends though. It depends. I'm not saying I'm not all I'm saying is that I've grown. So I'm not sure that the immediate response would be to shout you down.
Yeah.
It might be.
It, it would be for me. I know that much. Try it.
B
Some
said
lady try it.
B said,
What if she
what if
wasn't
she
cute?
wasn't
It
cute?
don't matter. It doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. You're not wrapping your legs around. I can only be the one to wrap legs around this one. That
Doc,
ain't happening.
Doc said, what if the
The
female
female
reaches
reaches
for a
for the
hug
hug
first?
first. You talking to me? You can reach for a hug, but if I see your legs wrap around, that's a problem.
Yeah, so is the leg wraparound is several steps beyond the Michael Ealy.
Oh, it is?
Absolutely. The leg wraparound
It is.
is
It
an
is. It is.
invitation.
It is. It is.
The
It
Michael
is.
Ealy, you could slip up and be like, oh, I was just real happy and just, got a little out of hand.
Yeah, you're right.
The leg wraparound is an invitation.
It's,
Every guy knows that.
mm, yeah.
You're telling me something without actually telling me.
Mm,
If you wrap your legs
wow.
around me, you're telling me something without actually telling me. Now I have a decision to make. Am I going to follow through and explore that or not?
Yeah.
So,
I'd love to see you try.
Okay, step back. She hugs O and he sort of is holding her and her feet off the ground.
No, that can't happen.
So, so I'm never going to Michael Ealy anybody.
That can't happen if it's an ex.
And so here's what's interesting, B. Here's what's interesting. B said I'm not hugging Denise no more. So here's what's interesting. Here honestly, I'm good.
What do you mean?
I'm good with people hugging you. And that's we've never had this conversation. Never has anybody, and never have I come to you and be like, oh, you shouldn't have done. I've never
Mhm,
done that.
mhm,
I'm good with that.
mhm.
The only thing that I'm saying is I feel like personally that the Michael Ealy, which I've affectionately called this type of hug, I feel like the Michael Ealy is too much. I don't know. I can't comprehend any scenario where any guy should give you the Michael Ealy.
And
That's
that's
all
where,
I'm saying. And that's just me
yeah,
personally.
yeah, yeah. That's where you stand. Where I stand is the Michael Ealy hug between like a bro sis relationship,
Mhm.
and I know that that's all it is. I'm okay with that.
And
The
that's
Michael Ealy hug between you and an ex or
mhm.
me and an ex is inappropriate in my opinion.
Yeah, but you
That's
don't
me.
have to worry about that with me. So like earlier you were like there are some women
I
that
know.
you would be okay with
Yeah.
me giving to Michael
But you
Ealy.
wouldn't even
You
do
don't
it. I
have to even worry
understand.
about that. I'm
Because
not
I
giving no
know.
woman to Michael Ealy.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm just not. I'm not doing
Carrie Ann said legs around will make me fight, and I haven't fought in a long
it.
time. Okay.
You're gonna pull Carrie Ann out of retirement if you do the wraparound. which listen, I'm with you because the wraparound means something.
Mm,
And no woman, I'm willing to argue or debate, I should say, with any woman who says that the leg wraparound don't mean something. That is innocent. It ain't innocent. No one can convince me of that.
mm. Now,
That's just me.
I love Nikki's question here
All right,
or
here's a question.
comment. I'm wondering if we would be having this same conversation if Michael gave John the same extra energy he gave Megan. Of course, not picking him up, but the same, what's up, bro? What up? Ah, I ain't seen you in so long, type thing. Dap him up, energy. Hey, it's good to see you. What's up? Da, 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 da.
So
That's a good question.
that's a great question. Me personally, the answer would be yes. I would feel the same way.
You would.
Yeah, just
It's
because
the
I don't feel,
whole
I just
legs
don't.
off the ground for
Yeah,
you, huh?
I don't. The Michael Ealy is just not. I don't see any necessity for that type of hug. I don't care how many years it's been since you seen me.
Mm.
I don't care what kind of relationship we got.
You don't care how many years
No,
it's
I don't.
been?
I don't see any. I don't see any need for the Michael Ealy.
Okay.
If I haven't seen you in 25 years, and man, it is really great to see you. Wow, man, we had a great friendship. I just all this stuff starts waving back. What you may get from me is a longer hug
Okay.
than the normal hug. Or what you may get from me is a front hug, whereas I would normally go in for the side.
Mhm.
I just don't see any reason why I'm lifting you up off the ground. That's just me personally. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's my personal opinion. I don't see any need for lifting
Mm.
nobody up off the ground. That's just me. That's just me.
Question about the leg wraparound would be why does the girl feel so comfortable to jump up and wrap her legs around? Why do you feel comfortable doing that, young lady?
Listen, that's a great question, but it's a lot of comfortable folk out here.
Yeah.
Like, let's be clear. There's a lot of comfortable folk out here. And maybe it's not comfortable. Maybe it's stupidity. Maybe it's they're naive. Maybe I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it's a lot of them out there
Mm-mm-mm.
that will do that knowing, knowing that the dude is in a situation, but will do it anyway. Like
Yeah, that's
there's a lot of folk out there like that. Like a lot of folk. I don't know. Did I ever tell you this story? Did I tell you that you remember when I went with McCole and Tanisha to that club in Chicago? Did I tell you that story?
yes.
Yeah,
About
it's
the
a
the
lot of crazy chicks out here,
yeah.
man. Like and they know you in a situation. I got on a wedding ring. Like,
That lady
why are
was
you grabbing at me?
grabbing at you in the dark,
Like,
in the dark club.
come on, man.
That is
Like,
hilarious.
so it's
And
a
you were
lot.
trying to run from her.
Yeah, she just pop up, man, like James Bond. Like, I'm over at the bar, try to go over
Oh
here all the
my
way in the other corner.
goodness.
Like, she just popping up. It's like, yeah, what are you
Woo.
doing right now?
Mm-mm.
Men don't
Men don't
hug
hug
that
that
long.
long, let alone
Yeah,
picking you
there's
up.
no reason for that.
Mm.
Even if I haven't seen you in a long time, you get a maybe a you'll get maybe a greater, whatever that means, hug
Mhm.
than the person I see every week.
Mm.
But I don't
Men don't
see
hug
any
that long.
reason to pick you up off the ground. Like, I just now I'm not saying, he might have been that kind of person. It obviously meant nothing to him. Well, I'm not gonna say it obviously meant nothing to
What
him.
if it did though?
Who knows? It might have.
He
Who
might
knows?
not have cared.
He might not have cared.
Let's not go there. That's
Yeah,
gossiping.
yeah, he might not have cared. I don't know. My ex would
Terry,
give
my
full
ex would
frontal.
give full frontals at church. Bros would say, Parks, you allow your woman to give full frontals? I didn't care. If dudes got off on that, whatever, I'm not insecure. If you can pull her, then my union wasn't strong in the first
Mm.
place. Oh,
Listen, man, I salute you,
mm,
bro.
wow.
I salute you. I I jump in and out of that mentality.
Mm,
I can't say I'm a steady, strong right there where you're at. So I
mm-hmm,
salute you. I kind of jump in and out of there.
mm-hmm,
And like I said earlier, I don't have no problem with her being hugged. None whatsoever.
mm-hmm.
But if you give her the Michael Ealy, I'm gonna think twice. I'm just being honest because I don't see any reason for that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The frontal thing, I'm actually cool with that too because I can tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So best believe if it's a frontal hug, I'm very observant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of giving away a secret here, but what people don't know about me is that it doesn't matter whether I'm looking in your direction or not. I'm very observant.
Yeah.
So I can go about my entire whatever I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
and I can make a mental note. Okay, yeah, that dude trying to do something.
That was a little off.
Or he wasn't, right? But we've never had that conversation because I've never maybe my insecurity isn't that high because we've never had this conversation. We're having this conversation in front of you for the first time. Like, we've never talked about it before. So
We don't know their relationship, correct? What if each of you saw someone, a dear friend, who you hadn't seen in years? This friend almost died or has gone through some things and survived. It's been 15 years and you give or get the Michael Ealy. Yeah, see, I'm okay with that. You're
okay.
still not.
I I'm so let me be clear. I'm not saying that the Michael Ealy is a wrong hug. I'm saying Oliver Marcel.
I hear you.
I just don't see the need to pick nobody up off the ground. Even in this scenario, you might get multiple hugs,
Mhm.
right? I may hug you and be like, "Wow, that's crazy, man." Da, 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 da. Hey, whatever. I just don't see no need to pick you up off the ground. That's just me, you know.
My feet cannot leave the ground
I just
or their feet.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I hear you.
I
I
don't
hear
know.
you. I hear you.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Mhm.
I'm dead honest. I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Mhm.
I think that and here's why and this is where we're going to land the plane. Here's why I think this is important.
Mhm.
I think it's important to have these conversations so you know what your spouse's
Absolutely.
expectations, insecurities,
Yes.
whatever it is that you're able to flush those out.
Yep. Yep. Because, like you said, the Michael, now you've coined it that, the Michael Ealy in and of itself is not necessarily wrong.
No, no, I don't believe so.
So what you and your spouse need to learn about each other, if you haven't already,
Hmm.
is where do each of you stand
Yeah.
on the Michael Ealy.
Yeah.
Is it inappropriate to you? Is it inappropriate to your spouse?
And in general, as it relates to this question, how far
How
is
far is too
how
far?
far is too far?
Hmm.
And what's going to happen if somebody crosses the line? Like that's something you should probably know.
Yeah.
Because for many of us, and I'm saying many of us because we were honest, we've never had this
Never.
conversation
Yeah.
until tonight.
Hmm.
So for many of us, the conversation doesn't happen until a line has been crossed.
Right.
And it's hard at that point
Hmm.
to go back to a space where everything is cool and we're
Hmm.
setting parameters and we're talking about feelings and expectations when things are okay.
Yeah.
Now the line has been crossed. We're now actually in defense mode
Right.
from here on out.
Right.
And it's tougher now to set those parameters because people will still think that those parameters are aligned with some kind of ulterior motive.
Hmm.
And so it makes the conversation tough, right?
Terry, Doc Parks says it can still be risque even if you don't leave the ground.
I agree with that
Agree.
100%.
Yep, sure can be.
100%.
Sure
I
can
agree
be.
with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Well, listen, fam. Y'all make y'all decisions on whether you want to go in for the Michael Ealy. Uh, have a conversation so that you know what your spouse is thinking and feeling,
Mhm.
so nobody don't get cut in the process. I've seen folk long hug, but then pause with hands resting around the waist. Nah, that's
Mm.
yeah,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
I've seen that too.
Huh.
I've seen that too. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
That's bold.
there's a lot of ways we can go with this conversation. I think the gist of it is that we got to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's a good conversation to have. And typically when we throw stuff out here, it's because we feel like they're good conversations to have.
Mhm.
And not conversations like, listen, here's the thing, not conversations so folk can be fussing and fighting and arguing and feeling some kind of way and getting suspicious, but
Mhm.
just so you learn something about your spouse,
Mhm.
you know. Um my thing with the Michael Ealy, if I'm being honest, and I'm man enough to admit this, my thing with the Michael Ealy is that um I feel like if I give you the Michael Ealy, there's something that I'm thinking.
Right.
And so I'm obviously projecting that. And I know I am.
Mhm.
So I'm man enough to admit that. And which is why I wouldn't do
I haven't seen O in years, Doc Park
it.
says. When I see him, I'm going to give him the
Yeah,
Michael
that's gonna be
Ealy.
awkward, my guy. That's gonna be that is hilarious, bro.
Oh
That is
man.
hilarious. Listen, man, appreciate y'all in the comments. If you're watching the replay, feel free to share your comments on what you think as it relates to this. But listen, have this conversation, man. Conversation
Mhm.
is a catalyst for learning, it's a catalyst for growth, and it is a catalyst for bonding. And this is a great conversation for you to learn something about your spouse because
Mhm.
you may learn something. You may learn that the Michael Ealy is okay. I learned tonight that there are some friends of my wife that she feels like it would be okay if I gave the Michael Ealy. They ain't gonna get it, but I know. You know what I mean? Now I know. Always love
Mm.
catching you guys. Thank you
Oh,
so much,
thanks,
Nikki, for being here
Nikki.
and being in the comments, man. We appreciate you. Listen, on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Inside the Relationship. Great show. If you haven't seen any of them, go back and catch the replays. With this season of Inside the Relationship, there are going to be more guests. So we had a panel discussion in the last episode, which was phenomenal, where we were
Mhm.
talking about how the women in our lives can contribute to our fantastic mental health. So if you haven't catch those episodes and be with us on Thursday. Uh,
Don't forget to
yes,
show Denise
I
the clip
I
of
will show. I
Oh.
will definitely show her because we're probably going to use. If we don't use that Thursday, we're going to use it next week.
Oh,
So definitely, I will. I
great.
will show that. I will show that to her. Thank you, by the way, for sending that to me. I appreciate it. Um, And if you guys have anything that y'all want us to chop it up about, please feel free to send us, DM it to us,
Yeah.
and we're good. Carrie Ann said Brian and I are clear now. That's what's
Good.
up.
Very good.
I love it. And that's what it's all about. You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
it's
That's
all
all.
about.
Just have a conversation, get clear on what's good, and keep it moving from there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
listen, fam, appreciate you all. You all are the best part of this scenario. Have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night. Have a great weekend. Doc said use it Saturday. Okay.
Can't
All
attend
right.
on Thursday.
We
Okay.
could do that. We could use it for next week.
Yep.
That'll work. That'll work. That'll work. All right, fam. Have a good night. Blessings on you. And listen, remember, have a conversation.
Have a
All right.
conversation.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Later.